This is a series of videos on a thing called pivot tables, and a lot of people would argue that it's the best part of Excel. You may remember this if you did the subtotal video, and we've got, just to go over it quickly again, we've got different tradespeople with different names obviously, working at different places on different days for different amounts of time for different amounts of time for different amounts of money. Now, analysing this data is a horror show. So, the last time we did it with a series of subtotals. This time we're going to do it with pivot tables. Come to the Insert tab. That's over here, Pivot Tables. It says a pivot table, pivot chart. What we want is a pivot table. The machine has gone and found the data, and it's done that because you know all about lists by now. You've only got to click in it and the machine will go and find it. The rest of this box you can happily ignore, because to put this on an existing worksheet is just insane, and you'll see why in a minute. So just leave everything alone and say OK. And this is about where most people get, and then they stop, because this is incredibly scary. In older versions of Excel it was a little bit more difficult than this, but in 2007, 2010 it's brilliant. Let's turn on the trade. Notice it's alphabeticalized. There was no sort in the other data. Just by the by, if you look down the bottom of the screen here, you notice we're on a different sheet, which you can rename if you want. So our data's here and our pivot table's here. Just before we go any further, I'll show you one little trick. If you click outside this area here, all this goes away. Okay, click back in, you're here. Now I'll turn that off. There are 4 areas here. One is drop report filter fields, drop column fields, drop row fields, drop value fields. Now the difference between these is that 1, 2, 3 of these, okay, 3 of these are usually text. This one is your numbers. The big one in the middle is your numbers. Let me just turn the names back on again. Oh, sorry, the trade back on again, and let's turn on cost. Did you notice that Excel is intelligent enough to put the fields where they're supposed to go? Down the bottom here, that's your rows, your row labels, so architects, carpenters, concreters, and here is your value. It's got to be the quickest way, isn't it? Got to be the quickest way. Now, I wonder how we go with site. So there's the architects, and they're the sites that they worked at. Brilliant. Down the bottom here, because we put site on second, it's put it under trade. Let's get trade and drag it under site. And that's the power of the pivot table. The concept of pivot is that the numbers sit in the middle and the labels pivot around them. And as you pivot the labels, the numbers change. We'll come back and do some more of that soon.